G'day, I'm Mark from Self Sufficient Me, and I haven't done a video on my second channel for quite a long time, and it's about time that I started using my second channel not just as an overflow channel but also on certain things like a Mark Talks. I'm thinking Mark Talks, I don't know if that's got a ring about it, but these types of videos off the cuff, not really structured too much, and I want to do other things as well, like mini reviews, informal type reviews. I'm going to call them a Soldier's 5 because they're like what we used to call in my army days, when someone wasn't sure about how to use some piece of equipment. It could have been a certain weapon or whatever. You would go and give them a Soldier's 5 on it. And I'm thinking that might be a good fit for this channel. Informal reviews, just getting to the point, letting people know what I think of certain products, whether I like them, whether I don't, and not rambling on too much about it. In this video, I want to talk about the supply chain crisis. Now, I'm not going to get into the weeds, and although I love politics, this isn't my genre. I'm not great at orating it and talking about it. I'll mention around the fringes of it, but I'm sure you don't want me getting into the politics. Some of you might, but there are other commentators on YouTube and everywhere else that can do a better job than me at talking about politics. All I'm going to do is mention a little bit about it because, you know, it actually relates to me, and I would encourage everyone to dabble in politics if they haven't already, because politics does affect us all, and I know there's a lot of boring parts about it, and I'm not saying get into everything, but keep an ear to the ground on politics and see if whatever these pollies are doing are going to be affecting us. And one of those things that I think governments around the world and big corporations, and to a large extent as well the mainstream media, or some call it the legacy media, like TV and all that, and, you know, commercial radio, I think that they have mishandled this last couple of years to such a bad way and such a poor extent that it's causing this supply chain crisis. I really honestly think that this crisis in people not being able to get goods, and you know what I mean, and inflation going up, the cost of living just all of a sudden skyrocketing out of nowhere, is not by accident. It's not by, oh gee, can't help it. I do think it's because of mismanagement. And if the world economy and other things were managed in a better way, I think that this would have been avoided. But now lots of people, especially those who don't earn a lot of money, or are pensioners, or are not in the upper middle class or rich, they're going to start suffering for several political reasons, and it was all the cause of those people that I mentioned. The supply chain crisis is affecting everyone. For me, it's close to home, and it's probably close to home to all of you too. But I'll give you one major example that is affecting me personally, and that is renovations on our home. We got here in 2006, and actually the for sale sign, you can't see it. I might give you a shot of it. We were so proud of buying this place. I've actually kept the for sale sign and left it here in the shed, nailed it to the wall. But you can see the actual kitchen has always been awful. We didn't buy the place really for the house. We bought it for the land and the location, getting away from the city, and it was cheap enough at the time for us to afford, although we had to chew and swallow hard for all this time to manage the mortgage, to be quite honest. But it's been good, especially when we dropped down to one wage for that 10 years or so, or you know, that I was a home dad without any income. Now I do have some because I have a business on account of my website and my YouTube channel. That's all beside the point. But yeah, anyway, we've never lived in a house that's had a new kitchen. And we've always wanted a really nice kitchen because we're such foodies. And we've finally got into a position where Nina and I can afford to get a kitchen renovation. It's as simple as that. And we're really, really looking forward to it. But at the moment, supplies are going through the roof, as in costs. It's hard to get builders because there's a rush on out there to buy houses and to build things before prices, and they wanted to lock builders and that in before prices rose and all that stuff. And so as a consequence, our building costs just to renovate our kitchen and our upstairs of our house has gone through the roof. We're still going ahead with it, but you know, a lot of other people probably won't be able to, simply because the costs have gone up way too high. We've faked in those figures and we're just going, look, stuff it. If we don't do it now, we'll lose our builder, and we've already waited 12 months to get him because you just can't find a builder. And so we just have to lump it, like many others are going to have to as well. If they want something, if they want, you know, people are paying exorbitant prices for computer parts, for cars, even used cars, you name it, everything is going up because of this supply chain crisis. And the reason why is because it's so expensive to import things, and that's one. And the other thing is it's difficult to get things. It makes them a scarcity, which the law of economics means if there's less of something and more demand, the prices go up because naturally people are prepared and they want that item. They're going to pay more for it and compete with everyone else who wants it. So that item can then demand a higher price. Rightly or wrongly, that's just the way it works. And you get sharks then come in and they make a killing out of things, and it's not right, but you can't do much about it, can you? But if groceries do go up, that's why I talk about growing your own food. One of the biggest expenses in a family is food, especially a growing family with children. Well, you can save a heck of a lot of money by just growing something yourself. Not only that, it's so much healthier for so many numbers of reasons that I've talked about on my other channel. But anyway, getting back to the supply chain crisis, behind me here is this rack of Prong Tools. You can see that a few of them are battered and bruised because I recommend these tools, and when I recommend something, I put them through their paces and I smash them to make sure that these things are worthy of being recommended and I don't have egg on my face. But I've been using these for several years now, and they've been great for so many numbers of tasks. This is a really good story, so stick with me. I know I'm rambling a little bit, but that's what the second channel is about. Able to sort of just talk to you like you're standing there. And yeah, so the guy who designed this is Peter. He's from my hometown, Toowoomba, where I was born. And it's not far from here, probably 2 hours drive west. And it's a great little invention. He's got a number of different sizes, but before you go Googling them, the problem is the supply chain crisis. It means that he's got hardly any of these tools left. In fact, there's none left anywhere else in the world. The US has sold out of them, so don't even try getting something there. And here in Australia, all he has left are these general type prongs, which are these two. This is the general prong. It's quite heavy. It's like a jimmy bar, but it's got that foot thing on the side there. They all have that. And it's angled slightly up, and that's the general prong. The other one is the lady prong, and he made them pink, but essentially it's exactly the same as the general prong. It's just that some ladies were asking him if they could have a pink coloured one, and he thought, yeah, why not? So he called it the lady prong and he made it pink. Anyway, they're both exactly the same. This is the only tools he has left here at the moment in Australia. And the good part of the story is, the other day in the Weekend Australian newspaper, one of the gardening writers there, Helen Young, she made a post. It was in reply to a gardening question on a Q&A page asking how to remove agapanthus, move them, dig them out. Anyway, she said you could use a mattock, but a really great Australian invention is the prong, she said. And she gave the website, theprong.com.au. And before I go further, I am an affiliate of Peter's. We've worked out a deal whereby you get a discount if you go and buy something from his store. I get also a kickback. Peter is a great bloke. He works damn hard. He's in his mid-70s, and he's asked me to do this video because at the end of the day, you'll see if you go there, he's got a notice up saying that stock is pretty much limited. But getting back to this story and the removing of the agapantha plants by Helen Young, because she mentioned that tool, Peter actually got a real big spike in sales. He's actually sold over 100 of them in this last few days, which has been a fantastic spike for him in a time when things were going actually really bad for him. The truth is that because of the supply chain crisis, it's too expensive to get these tools made and imported so that they can be posted out to people. So he's had to put a stop to it. And I've known other business guys and people who've also had to stop their businesses because of this. So not just Peter. I won't talk about them today, but Peter is one of them. And I'm sure there's thousands, if not millions, of other small businesses around the world that are also affected like this. And I just think that it's awful. But what picked him up was this spike in sales. And he's asked me, because he's got only about 100 left, about 50 of the ladies and about 50 of the general white prongs, he's asked if he can at least just clear the decks and get rid of them. So that's why one of the reasons why thought I would mention it in this video is, and give that as an example with this supply chain crisis video, is so that I could help him try to clear that stock. So if you want a really great tool that is recommended by a lot of people, even Helen Young from The Australian, and other gardeners, including myself, well, now's your chance to buy one, because I can tell you at the moment the prong might be no more at the worst, or at the best you're not going to see another prong for a long time, unfortunately, because it's just not viable to be able to make them and get them out to people. It just isn't viable. It's sad, I know, but if a little bit of good can come out of it, that'd be great. So I'm not saying you have to buy one, just to make it clear. I'm just asking if you didn't know about these, and if you're looking for a really great gardening tool that's good for leverage and all sorts of tasks, well then, now's the time to grab one. He sold 10 yesterday and they're going fairly quickly. For him, he would just like to liquidate his stock now and be done with it, rather than drip feed them out. That's what he's hoping to do. And then if he can start from scratch again whenever this whole thing picks back up again, he will. If not, that'll be the end of the prong, and you might have a relic of the past, which would be sad. Hopefully not, but you just don't know in these times. So, and I'll finish off with saying, in these times, be as self-sufficient as you can, because see, you just don't know what might happen. I'm not going hard prepper on you. All I'm saying is there is some validity in being a bit more prepared, because it can help. And it not only helps monetary wise, or able to get your hands on something that, because the shop and the supermarket shelves are bare, you can't actually physically get that item or vegetable or whatever you're after. It's not only saving money and able to get that, but it's the peace of mind also that helps a great deal. You're not worrying about having to rush to the supermarket to get the last bunch of carrots or whatever, or iceberg lettuce. You actually know that you've got supplies in your garden and you're not that perturbed by it, which decreases your stress levels. That's how it works for me anyway, and that's how it's worked for me all this whole time, especially when we were struggling when we first got our mortgage, and then we dropped down to one wage, and Nina was the main worker, and I was then working on the land, being the home dad, and bringing in as much food as possible so that we could save, not spend as much, so that we could put that and make our debts basically, and rob Peter to pay Paul for a number of years. And it was good. It was much less stressful having one person at home looking after the boys, and we're thankful for it now. But if it wasn't for the garden being able to supply that extra, I definitely would have had to work. Anyway, that's that. If you like this type of content, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my second channel if you want to see more of these videos. Limited editing, just a bit, but mainly just sort of unstructured, talking straight out, rambling quite a bit, lots of ums and ahs, but I'm just trying my best to get that point across. But not only that, I'm also going to be doing reviews, like I said, some informal reviews, some clips with limited editing, so just some general clips out in the garden or down with the chickens with not a lot of narration or anything like that. I might dabble in a few of those shorts for a bit of fun, and whatever else I can think of that could fit better on my second channel. And while I'm doing the plugs, I am, for those who are wondering, yes, I've got Self-Sufficient Me. James, my eldest, he's finished school. He finished school last year, and he's now going to be working with me. He's doing some courses on the side in editing and that type of thing. But he'll be working on Self-Sufficient Me. I'll still be the front man for that. But what I'm saying is, Self-Sufficient Me, if you're interested in fishing, that will be coming together more this year as well. So it's all happening, and I'm really enjoying it, and all of it is thanks to you and your support. So, like I said, if you like this video, give a thumbs up, subscribe, comment down below. Any feedback is welcome, but also comment on this subject and talk between yourselves and thrash out a few things. I think that's about it. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Crikey, tell you what. Is that too much of a ramble or what? I don't know. It's my second channel. I'm allowed to just yak, aren't I?